guys, I'm Alicia Davis.
And I'm Trio Springer, and this podcast is a whole bunch of real life. Yep, life as a woman and a mom can be hard sometimes. We totally get it.
We've learned that discovering our unique talents and remembering our potential gives us the ability to tap into our own power, and it's amazing. Plus, it's always better to journey through life with a sis, right?
Right. Sis, you have more power and potential than you realize.
We see you and we believe in you. You've got this, sis.
Hi.
Hey. So I love talking with you because our conversations aren't just superficial ever. And
No,
that's
they start that way.
yeah, they do. They sometimes start that way, but we get deep pretty fast.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that because that's another aspect of what Sis is about. It's about getting real, getting deep, being vulnerable, opening up, and really all of us letting our true colors, the good and the bad, all shine through. And I don't think there's very much bad in anybody. We all make mistakes. That doesn't mean it's bad. It's growth. It's learning.
Yes, opportunity to learn.
So, we were just talking about the fact that you are not alone and that somebody else has experienced what you are feeling.
Yeah.
And you had an idea about that.
Yeah. So one of the things that came to mind as we talked about not feeling alone is that regardless of what we're experiencing, someone else really does understand how we're feeling. They've either experienced something similar or have an innate sense of empathy. And I know that's hard to believe sometimes because when you're going through experiences, it feels like you're the only one who knows what this is like. You're the only one who understands this kind of pain or this kind of challenge. And it's so easy to feel isolated and alone. But that's not the case. So the experience that comes to mind when I think about this for me will probably take a few different episodes to dissect. But as an overview, I know that last episode we kind of talked about me having 4 boys and a little girl, and that little girl only lived about an hour. Her name was Lucy, and she's our little angel. And she was diagnosed at 12 weeks gestation with something called acrania. And basically, it's a type of spinal cord defect where she didn't actually form a skull bone. And so her brain was exposed. And we knew that she wouldn't live long or possibly even live at all. And we were really blessed to have her for even that 1 hour. And the more I went through these experiences with her, I carried her for almost the full 9 months, which was a bit miraculous in and of itself. And we had a fabulous doctor who agreed to do a C-section and delivered her in with the sac actually intact. And then after she was delivered, broke her water. And that was what gave us that almost hour with her. And it was everything that we could have asked for. But going through that whole experience of carrying her, meeting her, and then saying goodbye so quickly, like I'd never done anything like that before. I didn't have any of my siblings pass away. I still have my parents with me. I'd had some grandparents pass away, but I didn't know them very well. And so to have someone so close to me pass away was a totally new experience. And I felt completely alone, even though I was surrounded with people who were loving on me and making the experiences as good as it could be. And she was born, let's see, Isaac was born in 2006. So Lucy was born in 2007. So she would be 12 right now. So it's been 12 years. And I kid you not, every single year on her birthday, we try to do a little something where we take a decorated Christmas tree with lights and everything to someone who needs a little bit of extra light, because Lucy's name means light. So it's a way to honor her. And every year we have found someone who has either lost a child or lost a family member or is grieving in some way. And we're able to share that tiny little bit of Christmas joy and Christmas light. Lucy's birthday is in December. And so it's really fitting that we get to do a tree. Anyway, and every year we found somebody that experiences something similar to what I've experienced. And my eyes have been opened to understand more that anything that we experience is not just by ourselves. We are never alone in how we're feeling. Even if the only person who understands what we're feeling is God or Jesus Christ. Even if those two are the only ones who we feel like understand what we're going through, that's still two people who know. And so we're never completely alone in the things that we're experiencing.
Alicia, I don't even know what to say.
Nobody ever does. And that's okay.
Well, and the thing is I think the best thing for me to say is thank you. Because as you share the story about Lucy, I feel so much love for you and your family, and the fact that you want to just pay it forward by honoring her and bless another person's life with light, like you say. And so, from the dark times that you and your family experienced, you now honor her through blessing others with light. And I love that you say that even though, nobody on this earth may understand or know what you're going through, that God does, that the Savior does. And they do. And I love the sisterhood we have, because sometimes, and I fully believe this, sometimes we have thoughts, sometimes we have ideas, sometimes we get this feeling on our heart, and it wasn't necessarily a thought or part of our plan for the day. It just kind of comes out of nowhere. And a lot of people can call that a lot of different things. But whatever you call it, it's important to not dismiss it, because that's your ticket to being the key to somebody else's need and to blessing them. And I really believe that sometimes God uses us as the angels to bless another person's life when we're walking those really hard journeys.
Absolutely. So I could spend hours talking about all of the people who did those small, tiny things during this experience when Lucy was born, but I'll just share a couple of them as examples. At 37 weeks, we were planning on doing a C-section at 39 weeks, but at 37 weeks, I started having contractions and going into labor, visited my doctor the next morning, and he was like, yep, you're going to have your baby today. Let's do this. I'll meet you at the hospital. Why don't you call your husband? And so, totally unplanned in advance. And so I literally went straight from my doctor's office to the hospital and contacted somebody to watch my other kids, and somehow word got around. I'm sure it was Relief Society sisters of some sort that were helping with this. But one of my close friends met me at the hospital. I was there for probably 10 minutes, and she just popped over to the hospital, and she had a Starbucks hot coffee, or not coffee, a hot chocolate in her hand. And she's like, I didn't really know what to do, but I wanted to do something. And can I just sit here with you? She goes, if you're having a C-section, you probably can't even have hot chocolate. And I was like, I can't, but do you know how much this hot chocolate means to me right now? Like the fact that you're here and that you wanted to help out, I love this cup of hot chocolate. Like, I will never forget this cup of hot chocolate. So little things like that. And then also, I have a dear friend named Patty, who I think that we were sisters long before we came to Earth. And she was kind of my pseudo mom at the time, because my mom was rushing on a plane to get there, but obviously didn't make it for Lucy's delivery. And so my dear friend Patty was there and helped kind of coordinate things and hug me when I needed hugs and talk to me when I needed to talk through things and give me Kleenex when I cried. And, you know, she was there when I needed her. And I don't know if we could have timed it any more perfectly than that for either of us, but I'm a firm believer in the fact that those little things make the biggest difference. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, and just remember to listen to the little things and don't doubt. Like, I didn't think this. Right, you didn't think it. Follow the little prompts, because just like Patty was there for you and your friend with the hot chocolate, they may not seem like big things, and they don't have to be. It's the thought that counts, right?
Yeah, exactly. Those little things mean the world. They become the big things.
They do.
That's what really matters. So
yeah, totally. Alicia, I love that that listeners have been able to hear your heart today and your story. It's really, really important that we can share these things that will allow others to know that the path of sorrow is not one that has to be tread alone.
right.
And that's what we started with today, is that you're not alone. And like I said too before, there's a whole lot more to us than what meets the eye.
Yeah.
You know?
I just had one more thought, Trio, because a lot of our listeners probably haven't had experience with losing a child or a loved one and wouldn't know what to say to a friend or a family member who's experiencing something like this. And I know a lot of friends of mine would just write notes and say, I don't even know what to say. I just want you to know that I love you and I'm here for you. And so if I could recommend a couple of things, if you have situations like this that come up, don't try to say anything that sounds like you're trying to, quote unquote, help, right? Oh, I'm so glad you still have your two boys. I'm so, at least you've got this, right? Like, you don't need to fix the problem or make it feel better. The only thing that you need to say is, I'm here for you. I'm thinking about you. I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm sorry that you're feeling this way. And sometimes even just sitting and being with someone who's lost a loved one means more than anything that you could think up to say or do that might help. So there's that. The other thing is, I would have, and I even I'm having a response as I think about the thing that I'm going to be talking about, but so many of my friends would be like, Alicia, you're just amazing. I don't know how you're doing this. And as soon as that would come out of their mouths, I'd be like, just no, I am not amazing. I'm going through this because I have to, because it's just what happened. I'm not amazing. And, of course, I wouldn't be nasty, but I'd be like, no, I'm not amazing. This is just what's happening, and this is just the way that I'm going through it. And the response that I would usually get to that is, yes, but the way that you're going through it, with other people's help and support, with faith, and with a desire to see the big picture, like you going through this like that, that's what makes you amazing. And I had to get better at accepting those words, because I didn't feel amazing, but from their perspective, I looked it And I realized that as I have gone through that experience, there is a part of me that's amazing because of that. So it's okay to say that to other people, like, you know what, you are amazing, even if they don't want to hear it. I think that you can say that to other people and have it mean something when they're ready to hear it.
That's so good, because when you're trying to lift another, you try to meet them where they are, right? And I love that you said to, and it went through my mind like this, but don't ever try to say, I know how you feel.
Yeah, that's not a pretty phrase.
It's not a pretty phrase, and we don't know how another person feels ever, whether it's sorrow, pain, happiness, joy, because that's the beauty of being individuals and being who we are, is that it's different for all of us. So being there, being present, and really opening your heart with compassion and love, whether somebody is going through a hard time, whether somebody has lost someone that they love, or whether it's just too, like, sometimes people just need that attention. And sometimes they just need to feel that they matter.
Yeah.
And
that they're seen, that they're heard, that they're real. Yeah.
Yeah. So show up, right? Like, that's the first step. Show up, and then don't feel like you need to fix anything, because it's okay. We are all a little broken, and nobody needs to be fixed. It just takes time.
Yeah.
And
I like what you said about, we never can completely understand how someone feels. We can taste it. We've tasted what that feels like, right?
yeah,
We can understand a portion of it, but not all of it in its entirety.
true.
And I don't think we need to experience all of it in its entirety to be empathetic or to have a desire to help.
And I think too that there's purpose behind your experience.
Yeah.
As in, we may not know exactly how somebody feels, but because you've gone through something similar, you can be empathetic to somebody else's situation, and understand more fully than I can how somebody may be feeling in a similar situation. And so when I say there's a purpose behind it, you have more understanding than, let's say, me, because you've been there in your own experience, and you know what that loss felt like for you. So yes, being a sis means that we get to be there with love and compassion, showing up and not judging, but just loving people as they are.
Yep. And it's a beautiful thing.
It is. It is. It allows people space, whatever space they need to heal.
Yeah.
And that's good.
So extra kudos to you out there, Patty, if you're listening. And also Angie, my hot chocolate friend. I love you both. And all the others who I didn't name who helped me in that experience. You get eternal credit for that.
I love it. Oh, thank you for sharing that with us today, Alicia.
Yep.
And you're a rock star. So take that. And then, you guys, we love you. And we want you to go win your day. Because you've got this, sis.
You really do. You've got this, sis.
Thanks for listening. We'd love to hear your thoughts or suggestions for future episodes. Visit us on Facebook or Instagram, and be sure to share some of your own personal wins so we can celebrate along with you.
And don't forget to click on the 3 dots below to share this episode with a friend who's on your heart today. Go win your day, sis. We love you.